Hello, dear listeners, and thank you for joining us on Curl Up and Dice, Calamity of the 100, a brand new homebrew world designed by our very own DM, Itza. This is Charlie, otherwise known as Pinky, your favorite kobold artificer. As this is a brand new D&D podcast, we rely heavily on your support. We broadcast weekly, live on Twitch at 6:30 p.m. EDT, and you can find all of our previous episodes on YouTube by searching Curl Up and Dice, where we publish our edited episodes a week later. You can also find the link to our Twitch channel on YouTube, as well as our Discord, where you can send us feedback, suggestions, participate in our Players Secret system, and engage with the cast in the general chat. So please like, follow, share, and subscribe on whichever platform you're watching or listening on. It would mean a lot and help get the word out there to others who might not know about us yet. Now, enough of that. Let's get on with the show.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Curl Up and Dice, the Calamity of the 100. My name is Slevington, or George, and I'll be playing Milo, the fighter who sounds like a Dutchman, but also like Arnold. James, who do you play?
I play Rusty, the Dwarven Wizard. He sounds like me, maybe a little bit exaggerated. Charlie.
Hey guys, name's Charlie. I'll be playing Pinky, the Kobold Artificer. Ryan.
Hey yo, my name's Ryan. I'm playing as Mavinsky. He's like a southern crocodile fella, playing as a rogue. How are you, Mark?
I'm good, thank you, Ryan. I'll be playing Scud, the Goblin, Divine Soul Sorcerer, Warlock, who's very much at your mercy this evening. And I'll hand over to Itza.
Yeah, and I am the DM. I play everything and everyone else, and I generally run this world for the you schmucks watching and playing. Well, without further ado, I think we can begin this week's very short recap. Welcome, everybody, to Week 6, A New Home. As we join our compatriots once more in this hollowed-out cavity of a hall, we see this enormous clockwork contraption carefully being inspected by an artificer kobold of the group. As the more arcanely focused of the party examine such a wonder of magic and science, we look back several hours previous to this enormous chamber when a battle was raging. But before that began, the party looked on at the destroyed ruins of the 100 and their folly. In their hubris to change the world, they had most certainly changed it, but perhaps in a way that none had expected. As the party came into the chamber, they came face to face with the victims of such grandeur and pride. Destroyed corpses, ash and scraps of cloth, and a grisly scene of death in front of this contraption. As they began to move through, it became apparent they were hearing sounds, and looking about, they found ragamuffins, gatherings of intelligent, sentient clothing from destroyed magical pieces of cloth. As these had assembled, it seems they had grown a mind of their own, and they challenged the party, seeming to spout off strange ideals about collectives in cloth and political allegiances. As the party came to bargain with these things did not go off to a good start. As the party volunteered their skills to fix these amalgamations of cloth, they found that their skills were not up to par, and deciding that violence was a better course of action, the party struck out attacking these wicked things. Immediately things got strange as the party hewed and cut into these ragged abominations. They found that they were not going down in the usual ways. Instead, they grafted themselves onto the party, trying to strangle and manipulate them into fighting for their own cause. While being suffocated in this manner, Pinky struggled against one, as Milo did too, both of them wrestling and fighting against the constraints of the clot. As this was going off, Scud, in an errant wave of panic, shot off an attack that nearly killed Marv and Pinky when he put them to sleep. As this was going on, Milo finally struggled free of the clot, slashing it down, and the rest of them joined in this fray, with Rusty launching very effective firebolts until the rest of the clothes burned down, as Scud, Rusty, and Milo, along with a now awake Marv and Pinky, who had broken free, as they all hacked this hewn cloth to tread. With the errant sentient clothes destroyed, they moved in further to investigate a grieving sound of a large voice, coming face to face with the lone watchdog of this tomb. As they looked over one creature, they found the squire of the demon, Adrius Ulia, seemed to be the only one there. Frost giant of quite some stature, as the party had found. This young giant seemed to be a disciple of the demon. As the party tried to calm him, it seems things were working, until in a burst of rage, Milo struck out, much to the surprise of nearly everyone involved. The giant immediately responded as the parties began to lay into each other. As they began to attack, it quickly became apparent that this weakened giant was having a struggle maintaining its form after weeks of grieving and malnourishment and wounds taken prior from another dwarven woman. The giant beast seemed to fall in its maddened state, with a blow from Milo that crushed its head, leaving the grisly remains to be cleaned up at a later date. As the party pondered this moment of rage from Milo, the others streamed forward to investigate the chamber and the clockwork, magnum opus in their eyes. As the party proceeded to look on at this thing, certain things became apparent as they looked over it. This was built elaborately and without any monetary cost being ignored. As they looked over it, it was clear that someone had activated something incredibly powerful, and it had been leveled on their world. As this began to sink in, the party began to contemplate what had really happened to all of them as they looked down to the symbol of the broken world. I think that is where we begin. As we pan away from the symbol of the broken world, we cut to, imagine, a squatting dwarf picking over the remains of some cloth and debris that yet remain, at least the non-magical fragments. As we see Rusty, it appears that there isn't much left on these corpses as you begin to go through some of them, although some have some body parts that are a little less well done than others.
Ew. I assume they'll probably be Scud's breakfast.
Can you make me an investigation roll?
They're too well done.
He likes medium rare.
14.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you're pressing over them, you find some of them are giants, and since you fought Adrius, that's kind of to be expected as you go through them, but some of them are smaller. You're guessing kobolds, goblins, and halflings, and most were of normal size, being around Milo and Marv's height. As you pick over them, about 20 minutes go by of you searching through. In the background, we see Pinky working along, making the discoveries he made last time. As you come upon one with a touch of what looks like bluish robes, or maybe a bluish tabard from a suit of armor, but nothing too impressive as you look upon it. As you approach it, though, you feel a shock of deja vu roll over you. Now, what emotions take to the forefront, Rusty, as we see this feeling of dread and panic and recognition all at once?
Over a pile of clothes that I, as Rusty, have never seen before. I should.
Mm-hmm.
I think he probably staggers back a little bit. Looks around and makes sure no one's watching him and can see that. Hopefully. And I guess I go forward and I'll inspect these clothes, this tabard, and whatever's left of it.
Yeah, as you look over it, can I get a perception roll, please? As you scrutinize it now at high detail.
15.
As you go over it, you find one decently long, maybe 5 or 6 inches long, piece of hair that is more brown than gold of hair as you pluck it free. This will be useful in any scrying or identification type magic of this person. Other than that, you find no other pieces. The only thing that you do notice is that the clothing and the dye at least stand out as being unmiraculous, as opposed to many of the other cuts of clothing, armor, and scraps left over, which were a lot more ornate. A majority of the room were wearing magical clothes of some sort. As you see scraps moving or pieces that have moved away from the corpses, marking the sentient magic clothes you fought the hour previous.
I will approach Pinky as he's, I think, probably tinkering away at the machine or whatever. Hey, Pinky.
Yes.
Do you by any chance have any little empty vials or anything like that you're not using right now? Something that I could put something in for safekeeping?
Certainly. Give me a moment. And he takes his backpack off, and it's pretty much one of the only, or the first times you see him without his backpack. And you also see a pair of very decrepit, malformed wings on his back that's kind of pressed there. But yeah, he leans over, rummages through his garbage flying everywhere, and he finally finds probably a tiny little vial.
You see me, you see me put in this long hair that I found into the vial and store it away.
Mm-hmm. Mark vial of an oddly familiar hair. Yeah, oddly familiar hair from the ritual chamber. Mm-hmm. With that said, as Rusty takes his piece of memorabilia, how's Milo's mental state doing? Is he still as shocked and distraught as last time? Or is he recovering?
Yeah, demon.
Milo is still sat near that pillar where he collapsed last time. As he's looking at the corpse of the ice giant, or the snow giant, or what it is, its collapsed face, he sees a semblance of a spirit move about it and turn towards him. Milo is completely entranced, looking at this strange simulacrum of himself, which also doesn't look like him at all. But then it switches back and forth between him and this giant of a man. Not a giant, but a giant of a man. And he focuses on it for a bit. And I don't know if anyone is keeping an eye on Milo.
Probably not. I think you're still really far back.
Yeah. This group isn't the most... I'm just looking over everyone's passive. Yeah, this group isn't the most attentive or caring too. Everyone seems to be caught up with their own thing. Yeah, I don't think anyone would really notice.
As they don't notice that suddenly Milo just disappears in a whirlwind of energy. Taking place with him is that same spirit of that giant of a man. And it switches back and forth for a bit. Minutes pass and Milo just, as he returns, at some point he'll slowly join the rest of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he just like walks up behind any group of the other characters that have merged over the course. Yeah. And yeah, I think this just goes by quietly during the 20 minutes while Rusty's picking over the clothes and scraps and getting his hair follicles for his forensic detective work, and Pinky's admiring the craftsmanship from last time. What would Marv be doing during all this?
Whenever he's not being swatted away by Pinky, from trying to nick a piece of gold off this strange machine, he's just probably watching the rest of them. May have seen Milo, sitting by the giant, but he probably just dismissed him and kept walking around the place. At some point, he might disappear off to that front entrance that we had where the rope was, just to check on it. Has it been tampered with at all?
Very good. I think we'll get back to you, Marv. So while he's going to check on that, and then finally, what is our cunning little goblin doing? I think he's the last person anyone should take their eyes off of.
No, he's going to approach Pinky. Pinky, does this machine, this thing here, is there any way it can get these 100 out of us? Get Nightingale out of me? I thought if I come here and we did this thing and got in this chamber, I'd be able to get rid of her, but she's still there. And
I share your concern, friend, but I think that it'll be a long time before we understand anything about this machine. A long, long time. But I promise you, I will do everything in my power to understand it. Perhaps even Rusty could help me.
Can you help him, Rusty? Make it quicker? Like how long? Like next week?
Probably a good decade. Something like that.
This isn't like anything I've ever seen before, but
long.
I mean, of course, I'll try and make it quicker. I'm just making an assessment here by what I'm seeing. I could maybe try and squeeze it to 8 years, something like that.
Oh, bugger. And Scott's going to go and sit in the corner.
he joins Milo.
I've gone through all this for nothing.
Maybe Milo has some
no
contacts from the the school that knowledgeable about this sort of thing, and look over a glance at Milo.
Yeah, as I approach,
apparently he's fucked up.
No, I'm no longer sitting in the corner. As I stated before, as I joined the rest of them.
Trade places, as the repressive ones trade places.
I fold my arms over each other and I'm staring at this. Does it look familiar in any capacity? Or?
Well, am I speaking with Mr. Demon or Mr. Milo, or a combination?
At this point, right now, it would be almost 50-50, as it's sort of stabilizing.
Yeah, as you look at it, you remember a lot more. It's that big boring thing that they kept on fussing about and everyone was so proud about, and there was that little party that some people had that no one invited you to, because most people think you're annoying to deal with. Yeah, you don't remember too much. The memory leading up to it is hazy also, as you don't remember anything in the chamber. You just remember people being excited. No one could miss it. It was important even for you, as you remember excitement also to be done with it. I'd imagine it was impatience would be relieved. All you remember is this was going to change things and make it so you could just worry about what was right in front of you and nothing to do with tricky beings from another place.
This place, it used to be important, I think, but it is uncertain to me. Why? There's certainly some magical capacity emanating from it, but nothing I've ever seen in my studies.
We need to talk about what just happened, Milo.
What are
you
you
sort of
talking
snapped
about?
there for a moment.
You flipped out, Milo.
You picked up and threatened Pinky, and then you started speaking to that giant creature over there as though you knew him, talking about how weak and pathetic he always was as you killed him.
I killed him? I thought it was you, Lucy. It was me who killed him?
Yeah. It was
I grab one of your hands and I point to the giant's blood on it.
Yeah, I sat down and I remember the feeling of crushing something between my hands, but I never thought it would be someone's skull. Did I?
Well, yep, you did that. So, that's on you, buddy. I hope that you can remember. I don't know. If you're going to start snapping and doing things like that.
I have no animosity towards any of you. I swear this. I don't think I ever had, but well,
I glance over at Pinky.
I'm sorry, Pinky. I really am. I don't know if what came over me is in any way natural or provable by science, but I certainly never meant to hurt you in any capacity, Pinky. I'm really sorry.
Well, I appreciate the apology, but I don't accept it. What you did really was hurtful, not only to my face but my feelings.
Does it help if I could say that I don't remember what I did? I don't think it was me who did it, necessarily. Could you then maybe at least forgive the Milo part of this ordeal? I understand that whatever resides in me is not necessarily a hospitable patron, but I just want to say it was never my intention to hurt you, of course. Do you
really mean it?
Of course.
Then slap yourself in the face.
Of course. And he does. Slap himself in the face.
Well, all's forgiven. All right.
I'll do one for you, Pinky.
What was that, Scott?
That's it?
So I'll do one for you. Let's all slap Milo in the face, and we'll all be even.
Sure. Everybody slap Milo in the face, and then I'll forgive him.
Yeah, you've already said you've forgiven me, but...
No, I take it back. Everybody slap Milo in the face.
You sound like you're making sort of a joke out of it. I'm glad you feel better.
It's fine. No, I'm just kidding. But honestly, never do that again, please.
I didn't want to. I understand
Well,
Scott's...
you certainly look like you did, but I understand that there's something in you that's not particularly cooperating with you at the moment. So, yes. I recognize that, and I forgive you.
Is he ever going to shut up? No, stop, please.
Fuck.
We just...
Okay. Well, until you get that fuck face under control, please.
I'll fuck your face.
Talking to me. Well, fuck you.
Why don't we get out of this chamber? Gather our things, get out of here.
I'll take you out of this.
I've got the keys.
I fucking fuck you up, buddy.
As they begin yelling at each other and the others try to calm, I imagine Marv, the best place to be when danger is directly in front is to the side or in the shadows, as we see you probably sinking back into the chamber to check on the door, as that's a bit more pressing, and the others can deal with Milo when he goes schizophrenic and starts murdering everyone.
As much as he would have loved to be there for the slap face party, yeah, he's more worried about the entrance.
Yeah, as you approach the entrance, you see the rope is very taut as something is pulling on the door. You see it come slack slightly and then come fretted again as something pulls on it, something with a lot of strength. As you see it, like some of the bands of like rope are coming undone slightly.
I mean, I used 5 feet of rope before. I could use another 5 foot to try and tighten it real quick. Hopefully without them noticing.
Yeah,
So
on the other side of the door, on the other side of the door, you hear. I want it.
Yeah, double time running up to it with some extra rope. Trying to be quiet if you can. Just tighten it real quick. An extra maybe 3 or 4 lashings.
It sounded like Hugh.
Yeah, as well, it's an enormous door, so yeah.
Oh, you're not talking about the latch that we walked down the ladder from? Are you talking about
No,
the
remember,
big
there's
door?
an enormous door, then you go outside,
okay.
you go through the ruins, then you get to the trap door.
Oh,
That's
okay, I didn't
the
know
one
I
that
got
we
through
had-
the trapdoor.
That's the one
Yeah.
that we had tied up, not
Was the
the
trap
big
door.
doors.
Not the big door.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, you're at the trap door. That's
Yeah.
same thing will be happening. Yeah, you see Slay comes undone. Then when you hear such a piece of metal, then you hear and you see bits of wood begin falling loose. As you hear the crack of wood like an axe falling on a log. The trap door's giving away pretty quick as you hear it getting louder. Whatever.
How
you see it
far away
breaking
from
through.
the trapdoor is this device that the rest of us are? Are we like 300 feet away from Marv right now?
Yeah, you're like 500 feet
100
away.
feet,
Like-
yeah.
Yeah,
Keep in mind,
true.
you're a line there, Marv.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. A partially constructed area that you might deem ruins. Then the big door. Then another 100 feet.
If rope isn't gonna fix this, he'll put
Well,
some ball
it
bearings.
did, and then the person switched tactics.
Yeah, they changed to smashing it through. He's gonna let loose a whole mess of ball bearings on the floor, right at the bottom of the I think it was a ladder that we came down or something. A whole mess of them, just as a reactionary thing, and then run back to the group.
Yeah. So yeah, during Milo's rageful outbursts, you see Marv come running, slightly, I imagine, a bit more worried in this position.
26 on stealth in case they happen to try and listen for me. And he runs back. Just kind of casually walks in like no big deal. Looks at everyone talking about slapping Milo. He'll just walk up to Rusty. So, but
Oh,
do you
Jesus.
think
You gotta stop
is
sneaking around everywhere you go.
sneak is one thing. I was trying to look cool. I want to impress. He's gonna hunch down to your height, and just kind of. Do you want to leave these guys behind? Because I think those. How would I describe them? Like maniac people upstairs are breaking through the trap door. If you and me slip out right now, I think they would ambush these guys and we could leave. Get back to town, try and get our reward for the shops, and put this
the
whole
reward would always
mess
be
behind
nice,
us.
but this has gotten crazier than we ever thought it would, and
I mean, a little bit. I mean, I
just
got
glanced off
someone-
to the others for a couple seconds. As much as I hate to say this, I think we have to keep these cunts alive. We've got a better chance of figuring out what the hell's going on and solving this. My sister's out there somewhere, and someone inside of her. There's someone inside of all of us, apparently, and we need them fucking gone before they take us over.
I mean, Pinky, I agree with, but I mean, come on, all of them? You sure?
Well, think about yourself then. And surely, as a group, we can have a better chance of figuring this thing out and, kicking these people out of us. What happens in 6 months' time if you just go back to work and all of a sudden you're not you anymore? You've been taken over.
All right. I hear you. Yeah, stand up.
Hey guys! I try to shout over the shouting between each other and Milo. Apparently, we're going to have company, so.
Just picks his hand up. Yep. Got some friends out front. I heard a couple voices. I figured it was best to inform all of you equally and let you know danger's coming. Don't know if we want to hold up in here. There's a big couple doors we might be able to hide behind. Just throwing some ideas out there. or we got to take him. I was thinking we didn't want to stay down here forever, right? We've got some information, but that's about it. Don't know how to use this thing.
The big double doors, that's sort of like the halfway point, I'm assuming, between the trapdoor and us.
Yeah.
I'm going to send Sheila there and just have her just like chilling on a pillar somewhere like next to those doors, and basically
As a watch.
as a watch, and let me know as soon as she has eyes on them, how many there are, how big they are, etc.
Yeah. While that's going on, how does Milo, Scud, and Pinky respond to the news?
Scud will scurry off to like that kind of high ground and try and hide in the rubble where he's got a good view and
Sure.
and things from range.
That's exaggerated, but yeah, you move up onto the dais where the actual machinery is to hide behind some of the stuff there.
He's just run off. Milo,
Shoot yourself.
Scud just kind of disappeared, but the rest of you want to hold up here, or just like left hanging there?
I don't know. Pinky was still accusing me of stuff, so I don't know how we are leaving that off.
But it's getting easier to differentiate who I'm talking to when I'm around you, Milo. Yes, I do not get along with that piece of shit inside of you. I'll show him what it means to be brave, and I'll walk, and I'll just stand right in the center of the
Can't
big
wait
white
to
board.
see you curl up into a little ball. Sorry.
I hold up my finger.
Okay, I'll stand ready. I'm sorry.
Can I have a quick look around I'm assuming we've got like, in my head we've got 2 minutes until they arrive probably. Can I have a look around to see if there are any other exits to this chamber? Any like back doors that we can take, so if we need to flee we can.
Make an investigation roll as you try and look for some secret thing. Roll with disadvantage as you are kind of like trying to
A bit of a
speed
rush.
look.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's a huge back wall.
that's cool.
Yeah.
7.
You're in too much of a hurry, and you know that you're not giving it the proper time you can as you scan up and down the walls, quickly pacing up along the walls. As you get a visual confirmation from Sheila buzz in your head.
I quickly stop and tap into her vision so I can see
Yeah,
these things.
as you do so, you see a silhouette in the distance, and you see it like coming down the set of staircase as you hear as it falls over, and you hear as you see it slip on something.
So just so I just see one figure?
Mm-hmm.
Humanoid?
Yeah. Humanoid. They have no additional arms.
Medium-sized or a large-sized?
Too hard to tell from 100 feet away.
Rusty, we never did get any kind of confirmation on who set fire that we could reasonably say was done, unless you really want to throw Scud under the bus. I mean, I'm not opposed to that. But, I mean, if we want to collect any kind of... I'm just talking to Rusty. If I can.
While
if
Rusty's trying to look through its eyes.
Yeah, if we wanted to maybe throw someone else under the bus, one of these hooligans would be great. These are crazy people.
You get absolutely zero response because I'm currently looking and seeing and hearing through my spider.
And he doesn't understand any of that, so
I'm
he's
just
still
like
just
this,
going on about it, like shaking
like
you a
holding
little
my
bit.
hand on a pillar, basically.
Yeah, you see the person go into the downward dog pose as they try and get themselves up, almost like drunkenly, and then they slip and fall again on their face on the ball bearings. You hear,
Do I see this being standing in the doors, the main entrance doors?
oh, you're at the main entrance doors? Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd see the same thing.
I'll look back and I'll yell, Milo, there's somebody down here if you want to go have a conversation with him.
Is it
I snap
someone?
out of my spiders and I relay everything.
I don't know, he's having a hard time with the ball bearings we set.
Did he trip? Who is this
Yes,
person?
He's currently falling on his face repeatedly.
Why aren't
Yeah,
you
you
not
see it.
helping them?
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Milo starts walking towards. Gosh, you guys are not in touch with the passions at all. Poor
Yeah,
bloke.
you see- in the distance, you see the person give up on trying to get up, and they like humiliatingly just crawl out of the ball bearings.
Oh no!
on their hands and knees.
I'll follow behind Milo.
Oh,
Hello?
they
Yeah,
know
that-
that you can just choose to walk slightly to not. If you know that.
This person looks like they're drunk as you see them stand up and like sway on their feet for a second and then like slowly proceed forward as they
Hello?
like come towards the doors. Yeah. In the distance, as you approach Milo, you see this is a big person as you get up on a person who is between 10 and 11 feet tall. With the way the light is coming down, you can only see the silhouette of them. They like kind of balance and like stick out their arms like they're trying to like maintain a walk on a tightrope as you see a Goliath come into view looming over you. They're wearing the tabards and tapestry of the retinue of this place. As you see them peer down at you, he says,
How far are they away right now?
You look a bit different from this height.
like they kind of squint at you as they peer down, as they are only about 50 feet away now.
What do you mean?
I mean, you look different now when you are 4 feet shorter than me. It is a most unfamiliar feeling.
Is that Hugh? Milo, I think that's Hugh. I recognize
Hugh?
the voice.
Yes, who else would it be? I suppose it could be Lucia, but she is a bag of bones.
Wait, did you find a new vessel?
No, this was the vessel before. Remember I said it was the other person's body.
He like gestures at himself.
And this is the person that wanted to be a box?
Yes, put mildly.
How did you find this one back?
I don't know. About 20 minutes ago, I just transformed back. I never piloted this body before, and I used to be, like him.
Like he cocks a big Tom and like at like in the general direction of Pinky, but like it kind of sways a bit, like his motor control ain't all there, as he like points like about a half a foot to the left of him.
I used to be a lot smaller and more graceful. This body is powerful, but I'm going to have to relearn swordsmanship. Oh, oh
Right.
no.
He used to be a goblin, like a proper swordsman.
Yeah, you just see like puts his hands in his face. He kind of misses at first, not being used to his size.
Well, don't be sad. Now you'll have more power to wield more swords, or bigger ones, at least.
At least bigger ones, yeah.
Power is not everything. I would dance circles around someone like this.
He like gestures down at his body.
The Seven Arts doesn't work with a frame this large.
Well, I mean, if you're willing to submit yourself to experimentations, I'm more than willing to attempt to modify your body.
I think Scud will come out of hiding and say, "Oh, Pinky, come on, you know size ain't everything."
At least it's not the books. You know,
Oh, God, I hate the way he says books.
you have limbs. Isn't that at least a reprieve?
It is something. How will I get the little green ladies now? You see,
Like throw his hands out. He says,
I never really liked these big galoots.
I mean,
Always a sore on the eyes.
I'm sure there are some size queens out there that will enjoy your company.
I checked the important bits. I would split them in two like a battle axe this barbarian would wield. Anyway,
I'm not touching that one.
No.
yeah. I think after a few indecent comments, the party moves on.
Hugh, you said that it was about 20 minutes ago that you took this form, yeah?
I sensed something. Felt like things were whole again.
Isn't that the same time that you turned that machine on, Pinky?
Yes, and it's also about the same time we heard a very loud shift I don't know. In
Oh, yeah,
something
the
shifted.
screaming. Yeah, all those mad people started screaming and clawing their eyes out, and they all died. They're out on the ground twitching.
Well, that's fortunate.
Is the lich out there dead as well?
Hmm?
In the cage?
You mean Lucia? That's what she is now?
Yeah, she was a lich. That's what she said. Does she in a pool of blood by any chance? Kind of gleefully asking.
No, I let her out. Why?
Oh, well, that was just stupid. Damn it. Well, there goes our only
She
bargaining
helped
chip.
me and explained more.
Yeah, you probably had a reason too. We were gonna hold it over her head a little longer, but that's all right. You do you.
Hey, Pinky, maybe she knows how the machine works.
Well, I'm certain she knows more than we do, so we should probably go and talk to her.
Hugh,
We can get that 8 years down to like 2 weeks. That'd be good.
Okay.
Hugh, what do you know about this machine vessel? I know it's important, but do you know anything more? Or
This was meant to get rid of the dimensional ones, the elves, the albino drow. It would keep them away. About how it worked, I never much paid attention. There was a pre-party. That crazy bastard, the demon, got me blitzed, and I came hungover to this thing. Challenged me to drinking. He said that I could not outdrink him. Well, that did not end well for either of us. I don't think he remembered much either. Anyway, we came here, and then everything's a blank for the next hour or two.
Well, so now we know that this machine is some sort of a dimensional repellent. I look at Scud. But that knocks at least 3 years off the timeline.
All right, we're getting somewhere now.
Yeah, you see Hugh just like look down at one of the corpses. Just go.
What's with all the charred hot dogs?
Well, these used to be us, I suppose.
We look in quite a pitiful state.
some kind of immense magical explosion, I think. Some kind of output of immense power, that could be it. Is that potentially what was the intention of the machine itself? Putting up such a magical output that the Pale Ones wouldn't be able to invade anymore. Blocking all access into our world, or realm.
I remember the problem was they can appear anywhere. They come from the stars. I'm not very good with astrology, astronomy, that kind of stuff. Lucia was coordinating with some of the smarter mages from the Arcane College, but she was in her own group. We never saw eye to eye. I was more a trainer of swordsmen and the like.
Who would know more about the precise function of this device?
Probably the artificers, although they would never let anyone near it. Lucia was more the magical theory side of things, along with some of the other 100.
She cooperated in an assignment, but she did not know what she was doing?
I don't think anyone fully knew what was happening.
Interesting approach, I would say. I've seen
that's
students
why
do the
they're all
same,
dead.
to be fair. But they at least knew what the outcome was and not necessarily which parts they had to play. Who orchestrated the this immense approach or event?
See him like pause to consider.
That is a good question. I was already invited for my power and spirit.
By
We're
who?
scouting out people. Well, I was brought in by Darnish. I don't know who brought him in. The demon said he was brought in by maybe Lucia, one of her apprentices. And there were many others. No one truly knows. I don't think anyone wanted to give up information either. The pride of the world's greatest. None of them wanted to give up all the information, so none of them did. Doesn't seem fair to me, but I don't make the rules.
Seems like a poor choice. You invite a lot of things that can go wrong in that circumstance.
Many of us were enemies before this. It is only through desperate action we were brought together.
But
So there was something imminently catastrophic about to happen, enough that mortal enemies would come together to repel this. Who are these elves?
Oh, they're bastards to fight. Each one of them, well, they nearly have the skill to match me. I have defeated a few on occasion, but their swordsmanship is clear they've been training for hundreds of years. I'm not quite sure how.
Perhaps we should go talk to Lucia. I have a feeling that we could use this machine to perhaps find others like us, and Lucia might know how to do that, or give us some pointers.
You might know who we need to look for, like
Right.
someone who knows more about this machine. Like she
One of
was
these
like doing
artificers.
the arcane side of things, and yeah, she might know someone who knows the technical bits.
Real quick, speaking on cooperation, that little wheel behind us, are there still 5 or 6 lights lit up on the... There was like 100 little sockets, and then 6 of
There
them were lit
are-
up.
There are 8 of them that are lit up.
8.
Oh, is this thing
Yes.
counting upward right now? Just by
Ew.
time?
Hugh is a
Hugh,
100.
Lucia, maybe your sister, Rusty, and the other 5's us.
Anyways,
Yeah,
Does that would that mean she's close? Are these the
Yeah, I wonder what the proximity
Alive,
is.
at
Wait.
least.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? I mean, I assume you want her alive. Most people want their sisters alive. I want mine dead, but that's me. Most people want me dead, so...
you want your sister dead?
yes.
Oh, I
all
want
of
my
that
mother
is
dead.
all of that is true. But yeah, I know. When you guys speak to Lucia, I feel like she's going to give us the most information.
Mhm.
I'm going to start walking towards the trapdoor.
Yeah, same.
You see Hugh like slowly begin to like follow you guys, like slightly getting better at walking as it goes. As he follows behind you all. As you move back out to the main chambers, once again, you begin to pass through the rather large areas that you all came from as you move back into the main rooms with Hugh in tow this time. As you see 2 familiar looking insane people corpses lying right in front of the entranceway as you pass up the trapdoor. Who's leading the way to the trapdoor?
Well, Rusty said he was walking first, so I'm assuming him.
Yeah, Rusty, can you make me a perception check? DC is 12.
Natural 20 for a 23.
Yeah, you look down as, oh yeah, the ball bearings, as you neatly make a path through them. Do you tell anyone else?
Don't forget about the ball bearings, Pinky.
When you
don't
say that
know
out
that.
loud, I think everyone notices.
Damn it.
Hugh is like,
Who laid out these blasted contraptions?
as he like very carefully navigates them. He gets stuck on them for like a whole minute as he moves the 10 feet past them.
By the time Marv gets to them, because he's in the back, he'll yell out to the front of the group, "Oh yeah, watch out for these ball bearings." Oh, I see you all got through them. You're all right. Just kicks a couple out of his way. Walks them.
I'm gonna look these guys over because we didn't do that.
Yeah, the
Um,
2 we snuck past.
Nothing really much different than them. You see like Hugh tisking. He says,
I think I recognize some of them. Unfortunate. They were good soldiers once.
They push their bodies in the water.
there's a bit of a railing, but yeah, you could roll them over with a bit of effort.
I'm assuming there's like a current that'll maybe take them to.
Mhm. Yeah, it bleeds in from underground aquifers as you throw the corpses in with a
hold on.
splash.
Like, I know you guys haven't decided whether you're going to turn me in or not, but you might be able to use... I'm just saying.
Oh, there's a ton more people to the south that we've already killed.
All right then. Jury's still out. I understand, Pinky.
No,
Yeah.
that is a good point. You're right, Scott. We haven't decided yet.
As you all move back up around the corner, you notice that a certain lich is not in her cage, much like
Yeah.
Hugh said.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's all right. Hello, Miss Lucia. Hello.
We got the keys to let you out.
As
Oh,
this
she's done,
happens, you all see the wall over to the east warble as you see Lucia, rather unimpressed, arms folded at her sides, just like stare at you all, as we will take our first break here. Yeah, as you see a slightly disgruntled lich looking at you all, her bony arms are crossed and her hooded features. She peers at you all with eyes that glow a slightly luminescent, although dull green. As you see her like shift in her arcane robes. The robes seem to scintillate a lot more than they did prior, as she peers at you all under her cool gaze.
You found your spell book?
With no help from all of you, yes.
And we were just coming to help you, but...
Yeah, she just like looks at you and she says,
You have my thanks, Hugh. You can consider it a death, repaid for the information provided earlier.
just see Hugh shrug. And he goes,
It is no problem to me. Get me company with all those insane bastards.
you see her peer over the rest of you.
It seems you have fixed things. You didn't have to come back for my help. Very good. This will make things easier that I'm dealing with somewhat competent people.
Right. And, well, naturally, we have quite a few questions for you. Lots of confusion going around here.
Yeah, she just like looks you up and down and just nods.
I would imagine so. Things have become disentangled.
That said, I think we'll move it back now that she has been revealed. As you guys peer around the large empty halls, she just like gazes over at all of you as she like peers at Milo and she says,
You have a bit of a different bearing.
Ah, yes. Some strange things have been happening to me. I see, I think, whoever was me before I became me, truly. I think you like to call him the demon for some reason.
Oh. Yes.
she just nods.
You do have his bearing, or at least part of it. As unpleasant as he was to deal with.
I can only imagine, as I've shared in his thoughts. But he does seem to be able to get things done when needed.
He was good at that. Well, all of the 100 were good at one thing or another. Now, if you aren't going to lock me up in a cage again, or at least try to, what are these questions?
The machine, sorry to interject, do you know where it was for exactly?
It was for here, to seal off our universe. At least that's what the runesmiths said. I presume they did do that, from what little I could study of the runes.
Out of curiosity, all of those like orbs or the circles that would say how many we were in the chamber that were 100, were they like all the ones that lit up, were they all one beside the other, or were they sparsed out a bit?
They were parsed out a bit. They were not
So-
all in like next to each
Okay.
other.
Okay.
With your knowledge of the device and its use and intention, obviously something went wrong with it in the ritual that you all did. Do you think a mistake was made in the construction or application of the device, or do you think it failed due to an intervention of someone that didn't want it to happen?
And side question, could it have blown up just now when we touched it? Because you sent us in there. If it could have blown up and killed us just the way like it did the 20, 30 bodies we saw in there, that's fucked up. You should have told us. Just saying.
The mark is tied to our power.
She like holds out her arm where you see the symbol of the broken world, and she says,
It does not explode, my scaly friend. It was a reshifting, a reconstituting of dimensions. The fractured dimensions in this realm were crossing over. You restabilized it by entering the dais. With enough of us in one spot, it seems to be mending the wound wrought on the multiverse. At least, regionally. Hence why all those babbling fools died when the shock of their psyche was forced back into their bodies. They're split out over hundreds or dozens of dimensions at once. It seems we are not as affected. We linger in the main.
and she like swirls a hand, like trying to search for a word, like a
So
drink.
back to my question, though, which our scaly friend, as you put it, interrupted. Do you think that someone sabotaged the plan with the device, or do you think it was a mistake that was made?
I presume that is the case. It looked quite good from what I saw, but sabotage or negligence? I doubt negligence. They were masters of their craft.
And what have you heard or know about the one who walks as many? Is that what it was? Something like that. The one who walks with many, as many.
She just nods.
I have heard talk. So has Hugh, from what little we've discussed, when he could scoot over to me. And there apparently is a figure that drifts between dimensions. Even those insane fools seem to see them.
And she like looks at one of the corpses lying nearby.
Even in their beleaguered state, apparently there's someone, maybe one of us, who absorbed more, absorbed less, or maybe they manipulated it to gain power. I'm not quite sure.
So, here's what I'm gathering from this. You were all gathering to close off the dimensions, and this being walks in many dimensions, and so one could surmise that perhaps he was a little peeved that you were closing off dimensions and closing him off to, certain places. So perhaps he's the one who sabotaged this whole thing?
Maybe. That would speak to something. I hope it is merely negligence we're just dealing with. If it is sabotage, that will be much harder to root out.
I've got a question. Like, if this machine's like fixing everything, then how come we're not back to normal? Like, why is like Milo stuck with that bloke in him and Nightingale's inside me?
Well, the multiverse is still fractured, very much so. It appears that we stabilize things locally to a good degree, but we would need everyone here, dead or alive, to remend things. The power is needed once more to reactivate it.
And she like points at the symbol
Yeah,
again.
you mentioned that because we've got a few of us here already, that we were able to mend whatever tears in reality in this sort of immediate vicinity. But if we want to expand that and start mending the entire thing, I guess we need to find more of these 100 people? People like us? Bring them
She
here?
nods.
Presumably so. That will be a task. Quite a few of them are persnickety. I hate another quite a few. Good luck with Nightingale, that uptight whore. But with that said, then there's people like the Demon. Thankfully he's here. And then we have, well, the Runesmiths. They're probably distracted in the core of the earth or something. And then there might be people who got shifted into a body on the other side of, well, the Lago Lifeless Sea. And that'll be a journey of several months by ship, since those barbarians barely know how to make copper tools across that ocean.
Well,
Is there-
one place that we can start? Sorry to interrupt, Vicky. One place we can start is my sister. We know she was here within at least the last month or two.
Yeah. You see her sigh. She says,
So much about this woman. She was so rude, too, but she nods. Yes, I'd imagine she is one of the 100. That or a very rude and eager spelunker.
So,
Is there
It's-
some sort of ritual that you know that would allow us to access, or at least commune with the ones that are within the rest of us who are not so keen on speaking? Perhaps they would have more information.
she just shrugs.
I don't know. That would depend on a great many things, and I barely had time to even contemplate it.
like some of them aren't gonna know who they are. Like, are they? I mean, there's 8 that we know of. That means we got to find 92. Pinky, is this gonna take more than 8 years?
And is there some way of controlling whatever is going on between the splitting of the souls, if you will?
With time, maybe I could fabricate something, or we could find someone who knows how to resettle things. A magic based on the machine inside.
Maybe we can figure out how to turn you into a box, Scud. I think they live longer than 8 years.
I might be in a bloody prison cell.
I'm
That's
confused,
very
by the
true.
way, by your 2-week deadline. Don't goblins live like 60 years? You don't
No.
look a day over 30.
No, we don't live quite that long. Do we, Hugh? Well, you're not even a goblin anymore. I don't know
He
how
just,
long.
he just frowns at you and says,
I have no clue what you are talking about. Most goblins live to be 70 to 80 years old. Does that mean I'll turn back to my body?
you just see, like, Lucia, like, shrug.
Maybe if we gathered everyone, I do not see a way for anyone to return to a state of normal without a correction to the weave, so to say.
What? I am to stay in this tiny body for this entire time?
You shut up, you stupid gorilla. Anyways,
Sorry. I
it's all right,
apologize.
Milo. It's okay. Well, I can at least start working on some sort of contraption to attempt to locate more of us. But Lucia, we will need quite a skilled artificer. Do you know of anybody? Would you recommend anybody we start with? I mean, of course, our hottest lead at the moment is Rusty's sister, but in the meantime, I would like to focus my efforts on finding somebody who could instruct me in the ways of this magical contraption you have down there. Beautiful, by the way.
We can narrow it down somewhat. Whoever was in her body, or whoever she was, I do not think they liked me. That doesn't narrow it down too much, but it does narrow it down by a category of names. I'm not sure if it is any of the artificers. I was on general good terms with them, but it could be more of the research group or the divine.
Could you provide me a list of their names?
I do not know all of them. Names were never my specialty, but I can make a decently detailed list of those I did know.
Well, grand. I'm going to go start and make some preparations. I'd like to find a suitable space for me to conduct my experiments. Would you mind, Lucia, if we were to stay here? I mean, apparently, it's sort of our home.
Just looks around at the space.
Well, we need you all to stay put if we're to fix this mess. So, yes, that would probably be better than not if you all stay there.
That's good. Is there anything else you should tell us about this place, this complex?
Yes, any hidden secrets, maybe armor stashes or something like that. I don't know what the 100 were up about, but I feel a bit strange being thrown into this particular predicament. Trying to it only seems like, I sort of look at the rest, save the world as we know it, our souls as we know it. I'm having a little bit of a panic attack, I have to say.
Perhaps a hidden airship behind a waterfall or something.
Maybe something like a hidden airship behind a waterfall would be like help us a lot. Generally, in general. Scott, do you have any ideas? Maybe we. Sorry, a little panic attack.
It's all right, Milo. Deep breaths. It takes a while to get used to.
Yeah.
That's it. In through the nose, out through the mouth.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Lucia, because, I mean, you seem like the type of person that would appreciate someone being more upfront. I don't really care about saving the world, saving the universe, any of this bollocks, but I need to save my sister. And I need to save myself. So you said she was rude when she was down here. What exactly did she say? Did she say where she was headed? Did she say anything about who she was, who the 100 inside of her was? And where did you see her go last?
She didn't say anything, which also helps, as a few of them would start to insult me, but it seemed she was quite
rude.
She ignored me. That being said, she pressed on. It seems she was in quite the rush. I imagine she... Did you find any magical artifacts in the ritual chamber?
We found some leftover clothes and rags and stuff. Some of them came to life, I assume, from the influx of magic that was surrounding them.
There still should have been more things there. Swords, staves, all manner of things.
Not that I recall. I stopped finding.
Shit.
She like furrows her brow inwards.
It's a good thing I hid this stash when I did. That is not good. That means she has all the artifacts of the 100.
My sister does.
Apparently so.
Well, I do believe we have one magical
Fuck, we can
item.
afford a new shop then.
Hold on.
You can
Looking over
afford a
at,
few nations and several dozen mortal enemies with all of those, but yes.
Wait.
Well, do you have a way of locating any of these artifacts then? If you're aware of some of these artifacts, what they are or whatever, could you point us in a direction of where she might have gone? Is there anywhere that... Because this person is acting in no way like my sister, so I assume they have majority control over the body. Where would someone take these sort of artifacts? Either to sell them off or to use them somehow?
I am not a mind reader. Sorry, Rusty. I believe your friend is having a panic attack.
She points at Milo.
He's not
like a
my
teacher.
friend, I don't really care, to be
Why
honest,
is it bad? Why is it bad that she has the artifacts from this place? Is she not to be?
There is a Vorpal sword, a Orb of Annihilation, several other artifacts of tremendous power.
Sure, but why is it bad that she has these?
Well, some of the 100s, quite a few of them in fact, had quite deep ties to certain nations. Others have ties to themselves, and others still have ties to groups that's quite disdainful in the most intense of ways.
So not all of them will be compelled to come over here and try to solve this, or is there...
A great majority probably won't, especially after they saw what happened the first time.
But what was the thing that compelled them to come the first time? This could help us to reignite the spark that's in their heart or their soul to actually try and solve this issue of whatever is the calamity is that prevails this selective group of people.
With all due respect, Milo, fuck their souls. She said dead or alive. If they're not willing to come here to fix this, then we bring them anyway.
Also, the problem is that look how ignorant all of you are coming here. The only reason Hugh knows is because he was here with me. Only a few of them know the details, arcanically speaking. A few more might have the divine connection to figure it out, but most of them will have no clue what has happened.
I mean, we're only here because Scud burnt down our houses in order to get us all to go on this fucking venture. If nothing like that happened,
Good job we're all here, eh, Rusty?
What about Nightingale? Does she know why this was orchestrated and how?
Nightingale at least knew to bring us here, right?
Yeah.
You just see Lucia frown like someone threw a bucket of water on her.
Great, she's here. Oh boy, what a party.
You knew this, I think, but yeah.
I don't know how much she knows. She hasn't really told me a lot. I don't think she really trusts me. I don't know why.
You shouldn't trust her either.
Why not?
I don't trust anyone.
She has a connection to the divine that makes her holier than thou, and that love of self, the passions, can draw people down a narrow path, quite narrow indeed in her focus.
Pride cometh before the fall, as they say.
She just Lucia just spreads her arms wide and she says,
and what a fall.
I look at Scud. How's Scud looking?
I imagine, Scud, you look like two women are like yelling at you at once. Like,
yeah, he's a bit confused, to be honest. This is all a bit over his head.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah, you got one talking on the outside and the other inside your head talking at you. Probably a mile a minute right now.
What about Mavinsky and Rusty? How are they looking? Are they what are they showing, if you will, at this entire 100 thing and destiny?
Don't want to blow up. Don't want to make this place his home. He scoffed at a couple of ideas of coming back here more than even once. But currently just trying to kind of figure out what he can get out of bringing other people here. A lot of it goes over his head as well. He's shown quite often not the most magically inclined. So talking about things like spells and rituals and stuff, it goes over his head a bit. The only part he knows is convincing others to come here, which, dead or alive, sounded great. Kind of perked up to that, I will say. That's the easiest part of everything that it's been said so far.
Well, I mean, if they're anything like most of us, they've been going through changes. Things have been happening to them since this event happened. So if we can find them, which I'm fairly certain I can work a way out to find at least some of them, we can explain the situation and tell them that we have information on why things are happening to them, bring them back to the complex, and, show them what's going on. Lucia, was there a time limit on what was happening? If you remember?
Well, if I didn't spend so much time in a cage, then maybe I would know. But I'm going to need time. And I'm going to need time to find your sister before you ask me again, Rusty. This needs time and magic to figure out exactly what she was doing. And I would like to see where she has gone also, as she probably took my staff.
Well, I don't think there's much time to dilly-dally, so...
Well, let's tackle a couple things that's sort of a bit more immediate then. We need to get back to town and hand someone in as the culprit of the arson that happened the other day.
I'll
feel
walk
like
over
we should-
15 feet, grab a body off the ground. This one looks good.
I sort of look back and forth between it and Scud, and I still look a little bit undecided. I feel like we should at least spend the night here. You know, there's beds. I'm still a bit injured. I think a few of us are a bit tired from the combat.
Look, Rusty, look, I know there's a bit of bad blood because of what happened between us in your shop and that, but like, one thing is true. I want this over. I want to get back to normal, be myself again, and you kind of want the same thing, and to find your sister, and all of that is linked together. I'll help. If you don't turn me in, I'll help you, because one thing you can trust is in my own interests.
You see Hugh nod.
And I want my body back, damn it.
And he looks at his big fist. He's like,
So clumsy.
If you ever have the thought of doing anything like that again, you run it by us first, as a group. If we're gonna be tackling this whatever fucking mission together, we need to be able to make these decisions together.
So you see Scud thinking quite hard about how that's going to work for him. Yeah, if you're there, I'll run things by you. You know, sometimes you got to act quick though, haven't you? You know, on your feet, nimble, agile, all that. It's like, yeah.
I've got one final question for you about what you did.
Yeah.
My bedroom is in the upstairs of that shop. Me and my sister lived there. Did you know that we were out of the building when you set the fire?
Oh yeah, there was no one in there. I watched it for a little while. And it wasn't the first night I'd been around.
Oh great, he was in my bedroom too.
I didn't go in your bedroom. No. But no, but you're a creature of routine, Rusty. Go to the inn after work every night. It's I had to make sure there was no one in there before I went in. I didn't want to get caught, obviously.
Was Scud lying? Was Milo Roll's insight against you?
No, he was selling the truth. Probably can. He was selling the truth though. Yeah, I didn't want to hurt.
He chooses to believe what he chooses to believe.
I didn't want to hurt anyone. It was never the plan. Like I say, I just needed to get people here, and like no one was going to believe me. Like, why would anyone listen to me? I got no money. I couldn't pay anyone, and I pretty ragged, and well, I know what, I look pretty wretched, and I'm a dark hair. No one believes us most of the time. This is the only way I could think of that would definitely work.
Just see Lucia nod. She says,
Well, in the end, you done a good thing. Passions bless you for your ignorance and your wistfulness to listen to her.
Yeah, well, like I say, I want to get rid of her. She said that this was a place where that could happen. Well, seems she's telling the truth.
We all want to get rid of her.
Well, at least everyone seems to be beginning to tell the truth to one another, so that'll make things easier going forward.
Maybe this will ease it, as I don't think I can readily go into town, and this is not my favorite spell book.
she holds up the spell book.
All those spells gone.
She sighs and she says,
There's coinage in the chest. I have no need for it, but it seems like you lot are going into town. Also, this place needs some refurbishment, if it's to be my new home. I'd imagine that most of my safe houses are defunct.
She like looks over at Hugh.
That goes for you also, Hugh.
And you see him just like sigh. And he's like,
I cannot go back to my favorite brothel then. Oh.
and he just like rubs his face. Like like it was some major loss.
Wait, why can't you leave?
She like looks at him.
He is quite the uncoordinated mess right now.
Oh,
That and, well,
You remember all that splitting things in two talk? That's why.
right.
Does Hugh carry any weapons on him right now?
He has a like short sword on him that looks like a dagger due to his size.
Dude, we defeated a young frost giant down in the chamber. He might have a I think he was wielding a sword that might be more your size. Other than that,
Everything he
thing on
had
your hip.
was a rusty pile of shit. By the looks of it, most of it had been damaged in the battle with your sister. You'd think.
well, it works
defense
wonders
fire.
on us. Fuck.
I could mend it.
The biggest danger
Even if
was
you-
deadness.
Actually,
Even
speaking of Hugh, you came down to that chamber and found us, and we left pretty quickly. Do you think if we went back down there, you might be able to find the remains of your old body?
I presume I was one of the small ones. About a quarter of us were small in stature, like Scud, Pinky, and some halflings.
Well, if we do find your remains, maybe we can look at it, see if there's some sort of ritual that we can do to, with the remains of your old body, you're inside this new body, fix something there or connect. I don't know. I guess we could use you as our guinea pig before we do anything on ourselves.
Just to see him look at you guys like, He then looks at Lucia, and Lucia just nods.
that sounds like a good idea. I'll look into that when I have some spare time, although fixing you lot should not be a priority. Right now, anyway. There are bigger things to worry about.
Right, I'm going to find my room.
You said there were 8 activated of what?
Those orb thingies. There were 100 of those orb rings type things, and then when you came in, there were 8.
There was
That
6
were
when we first went down, and now there's 8.
Nah, she like looks over you guys, and she says,
You don't have a friend waiting outside, do you?
No.
Hmm.
Not that we know
she
of.
like she pauses for a second and like contemplates it. And she says,
Who could that be?
Well, we thought it was like us 5, you, Hugh, and Rusty's sister Rosie.
Yeah, possibly Rosie. We thought maybe because she was here within the last month or something.
Maybe she's outside.
Wait,
I
there's
mean, we would
someone.
have seen her coming in, right?
There's someone outside that is like us.
Well, there's a glowing orb that's unaccounted for. So there's someone somewhere.
Hold on, do they only glow if you're close by? Well, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Because, like...
It only goes a certain distance. That is how we... Well, it would be ridiculous, the amount of power it would require to go further than a few 100 meters.
Are there any rooms that haven't been accounted for that we've not checked?
None
it wouldn't
that
have been
you
from
have.
the complex though, because when Hugh walked in, the 8th one lit, so it has to be a radius of less than like where that trap door is.
So whatever else is in here, it's somewhere near that. Then.
Yeah.
I'm going to check up on something. And I start moving. I start moving towards the trapdoor.
You want me to come with you, Milo?
The only other chambers are the 2 exit chambers. One that goes north and one that goes east.
I would appreciate it, Scud.
Okay. I follow right though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we see those two begin to move off. As you see Hugh like pull out a box and sit on it, rather ironically.
Where is this box coming from?
In the enormous chamber you're in. There's a ton of shit.
I'm gonna look for like an empty, or even a full one that I can empty, like vase or urn or something like that, but like yay big.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she was holding out a book, and she said there was a chest of gold, by the way, Rusty. I mean, we could probably buy in a shop with just that. Co-own it. I'll share the profits with you. You can go look for your sister.
We'll go have a look. Go see how much is in there.
Good idea. He'll shuffle over to the chest. She's just muttering about.
Lucia seems to just ignore you as she looks at you for like the slightest second.
Yeah,
and then like
I'll hand Marv the bag of holding as he goes with it.
That's too small of a bag. It's alright, I got one.
You know, we showed you how this. Okay, fucking never mind. I go back to looking for a big urn or vase.
As you open the chest, you see a glimmer of treasure beyond. Marv, as at least you got something out of all this. You count 300,
and then opens it. Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah, no traps. As
Cool.
you paranoidly check it. 330 gold, 1,900 silver, and 6,100 copper in coinage is immediately evident. There are 50 gold gemstones, a sardonyx with opal bands of white, onyx gemstone, 2 quartz gems, and a Sifro phase, which I have no clue what the hell that is, but it is a type of gemstone, apparently. But you find all of the following. There's the word of the day, audience. Super educational.
Loot.
Also, you find 2 artistic objects: a copper chalice with silver filigree, worth 25 gold, and a carved bone statuette of the Passions.
Any pearls worth 100 gold?
No pearls worth 100 gold. There's also a odd-looking hat in the collection.
Ooh.
One of his daggers, he'll take the hat, try to poke and pull a corner, like a little triangle notch out of one of the sides.
Your dagger doesn't seem to leave any mark as you pull it free.
Pulls it,
Or try
no
to
marks.
pull on it. No marks.
Why would
Appears
she
to be
just-
magical.
Would she be just leaving this in here for us? She said he had no use for gold, but... Oof.
Oh, that trinket. Rusty can have it. He seems like the kind who would use hats.
I am currently wearing a hat.
I'll trade you, Rusty, your hat for this hat.
It is a hat of wizardry, so it will have no effect on that one, unless she's
What does it look
got
like?
some unseen talent.
As you look at the hat, she just peers at it. So it just looks like a standard, like, cap kind of hat. Like, imagine, like, 1920s, kind of like, or like farmer's cap kind of hat.
Does it say Phelps anywhere on it?
I'll
tag or
be
anything?
losing my whole Crocodile Dundee aesthetic.
I will be the crocodile. Then.
She sees your, like, face fall when you look at it aesthetically, and she says,
You can change what it looks like.
Alright, I'll do a swap with Marv.
Probably a little too small. But he'll proudly wear it sideways on one of the bumps on his
Crocodile
head.
Marvy. You are a crocodile after all.
as
of
you
wizardry,
put
right?
on the hat of wizardry,
What's this?
requires
Oh, wow,
attunement
you've
by a
actually,
wizard.
Made it look like that. Wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
This
The gods
antiquated...
and everything.
It's got
Yeah.
castles.
Uh-huh.
Thank
Yeah,
you, of course. Keep your eyes away. Have you ever been in the
Yeah.
bush, mate?
Yeah. You can use this hat as a focus for your spells, so you can go hands-free.
Oh,
The
that's
hat can
cool.
take any hat shape the wearer wishes. You can try casting a cantrip you don't know with a Arcana roll.
I'll make it look like the hat I just handed Marv, but just like imagine what hat I just gave Marv was like a $5 hat. This one just looks like it's a slightly fancier, nicer looking one, with like the teeth like going around and stuff.
With the leather strap with the teeth coming through.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'll keep the tassels. That look good.
While Marv is pining over gold and Rusty's like doing fashion with a mirror and his hat, what's Rusty doing? Sorry, what's Pinky doing? I mean,
Pinky's on his way to, like, he's looking through all the rooms, see which one would suit his needs best. Looking for something that could accommodate fairly good sized workshop.
Well, there's plenty of huge open spaces as you peer around. There's not so many rooms yet as such. There's the upstairs kind of loft area that's more wooden and reminds you of like kind of like a bar or like an unfinished inn.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the below areas that lead to huge vaulted chambers and like almost like cathedral like, and then leads off to the ritual chamber. Then to the east and west, you open the door to two narrow tunnels that lead off through the winding natural caves that apparently lead to exits. Seem a lot more secretive than the ones you came in by.
This was the one you were saying. No doors in those corridors?
Yes, initially there's a door, but you'd have to follow the corridors down their trails several hundred feet to know where they lead out to.
I mean, I'm not doing anything, so I'll do that.
Yeah, so Pinky's doing that in the meantime. While that's going on, Milo and Scud, I imagine you return back to the ritual chamber.
While we're walking back, I'll say to Milo, Milo, how you doing?
It's okay. I'm doing okay. I think.
I wanted to say thank you for trying to help me back in the village. Like most people, well, no one really ever helps me. But I know what you're going through. It's not nice. The others don't get it. It's easier for them. They don't know what it's like.
The irony is good. The disappointment and anger I felt, I think, brought me closer to whoever Anath really is. I've never felt something quite like this. It's someone fuels himself, his mood, purely by anger. It's unconditional in its own way. It's something I can draw from, if you will, but and it shakes his head. No, let me just focus. I don't want to talk about it too much right now. I'm sorry,
maybe.
Scott. I can imagine that you've gone through a lot with Nightingale as well. He shakes his head.
I don't know. Well, maybe you can understand why I had to do what I did. I didn't want to do it, but like, maybe you can understand now. I'm sorry this has happened.
Turns to you, Scott, for a second as you see his eyes well up with tears. My lady Nightingale, I would always understand. I will follow you till the depths of hell. He shakes his head.
Do you think that the demon's got some history?
I don't want to think about it. Let's continue on.
Neither do I. Where were we going, Milo?
To the trapdoor.
Oh, fuck.
As you move downstairs and try to escape that uncomfortable conversation, you moving down into the area. How do you guys proceed as you move back into the chamber of the dead and the contraption?
Carefully, but I also like to keep in mind potentially where that other rock came from, or the other plip came from.
Yeah, I think knowing that there might be someone else down here, I'm going to follow closely behind Milo, but try and sneak as best I can.
Yeah, go ahead and make a stealth roll as Scud sneaks off to the side. As you approach, you see three. 24. Yeah, you see 3 markers. As Scud kind of disappears into the periphery, Milo, you can't quite find him once he's hiding.
I'll just add real quick. Sorry. When I eventually find that urn I was looking for, I will be heading down to that chamber too. So you just let me know when I arrive.
Sure, you're probably like 3 minutes behind.
Yeah.
The whole treasure and the hat fashion that takes a minute.
Yeah, give me 5-10 minutes though.
Milo.
Yeah.
Has his shield strapped on his arm. As he looks at where are these blips showing exactly when in?
They're on the central mechanical wheel as you peer up at it.
So I walk into this room and I see on the central mechanical wheel, I see these 3 blips.
Yes.
Okay.
You see 3 marks out of 100.
I sort of casually stroll about, and I know Scud is hiding off somewhere. I'll walk around the room, sort of inspecting these things and keeping an eye on anything suspicious. Like anything moving around, any presence that I might sense somehow. I'll keep everything like on high alert, basically.
Make me a perception check as you actively scan the chamber. Peering around as you gently scan the room, walking with weapons abound. What is Scud doing in the meantime before this happens?
He's sort of shadowing Milo, and again, he's on alert. But he's watching Milo in case someone jumps out on him, and also, I suppose, trying to have eyes in the back of his head to make sure no one jumps out on him as well.
As you do so, Milo, you see the faintest thing, like a ghost, but not right. A silhouette of a hooded figure in robes, but they appear smoky to the point where you cannot tell gender or race as you see this faint outline, much fainter than the token would show, of this ornate robe. It seems to stand on the central dais and look down at a blackened splotch where someone was clearly standing, like the shadow imprint after a nuclear explosion. Standing, whatever this splotch was, it was standing right at the center of where this occurred.
So it is quite unclear where it's exactly sort of standing for anyone who doesn't notice it immediately. Or is it?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's sort of like fading in the background almost, but I'm noticing it because I'm looking for it, essentially, right?
Yes, you would not notice it.
Okay.
It's like looking at your own reflection in a mirror, basically. Sorry, in a window. You know, when you see it like in a car window or something. It's very faint.
I'll look around, sort of like in my stroll. As I see that, I'll peer around the room and try to find Scud to make eye contact.
You do not find Scud. I think no matter how hard you look, you will not find Scud.
Is Scud hiding? Is Scud hiding from me as well?
He's hiding from everything in the room,
Okay.
I'd imagine. So yeah, Scud, you see him presumably try and look for you, as he definitely sees something.
I'll make it more clear. As I'll take out my sword and sort of like swing it around myself for a second. I'll let myself go, if you know what I mean. I'll sort of let Milo go, as he sort of focuses back and switches completely to Anath, the demon. Because, what? Back to this place. Who is this? Why you having that hood on? As he loudly screams around. I presume Scott would know this.
Yeah, Scott, do you do anything before the figure responds?
Oh, I'm going to stay where I am.
Anath.
It doesn't say anything further, just like seems to just acknowledge you.
Strange ghost person.
Forward as always.
Yeah, Anath or Milo sort of trudges on the tip of his toes as he looks at the figure. Why are you here?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to respond to you, but seems to peer down, like, at the smudge, like it's inspecting it. It's hard to tell anything, like its emotional state or anything, but its ghostly form.
Merely coming back to the scene of this crime, folly, divine providence, punishment, or maybe justice.
There is justice about killing hundreds of people.
I did not kill anyone, demon.
You seem to be proud of the work that has been set upon this place. Who are you?
I don't really quite know anymore. It seems you don't either. You're suffering a fraction of what I feel.
And that sort of fades for a second. I am Milo, of course. But you don't know who you are?
I am all of me, and none of them at once. I hate and love you so much, I cannot disentangle them. It is maddening, but past the veil of madness comes clarity and sanity. Too much for one to bear. Too much for anyone. It must be ended. I come here to reflect sometimes on that great catastrophe 1,000,000,000,000,000 years ago.
1,000,000,000,000,000 years ago? This... What happened here did not happen that long ago. You must be an invasive spirit. You must know this.
I suppose I am. A ghost that haunts everywhere, all at once.
Milo slowly back up, still looking around for any sign of Scud or anyone.
This is creepy as hell, Scud. As you hear this weird emanation, you
heard this voice earlier, remember?
Yeah, you might have heard part of it earlier. It does sound slightly familiar. But as you look on, Scud, yeah, you can't really even see it. But as this is going on, you hear something, some trembly, wavering, ghostly voice. It sounds like many people speaking as one. Rusty, as I think Rusty, we see you come into the place with your urn/piss pot. So you, you're like, what the hell is making that racket? As you heard Milo shouting minutes prior. As you come in and pause, we will take our own break there. As we return, we see a slightly creeped out Rusty hearing weird noises ahead. Milo, which is completely freaking out, and Scud, who is hidden somewhere. We see him peer on at this strange scene. Hopefully, whoever this is doesn't see you, Scud.
not really wanting to get involved, but knowing that Milo has had some weird outbursts recently, he's like, oh, things might
You're
head south.
forced into action.
What's going on here, guys? What's that? Milo, what's going on?
Ah, it is Rusty.
You the one they call the one who walks as many?
Yes.
Yeah, we heard your voice earlier talking to that giant fella. You were trying to convince him to attack us.
Well, that must be one of me that has more of a grudge against you all. Although most of me do.
So you're multiple people? Are these like those simulacrum type things that I've heard of, or?
No. This range is more far and wide. Our insolence shattered everything. Now I must fix it. The only way I know how. The only way they will do it. They will destroy them all. Every one of them. Until your one, the Alpha, remains. And then there will be nothing. And I will be free of it.
What exactly is the Alpha?
It is where you reside. You are the clearest. You will draw them on like a locust to a fruit field.
Didn't you come down here with Scud? Where's Scud?
I don't know where the fuck Scud is. He snuck off somewhere in the shadows, and I saw this spirit, and I started talking to it, and now it's like this. Is there any way for you to contact the others? Because this is, I think, the worrisome third that we found here. As he points at the needle points, are there now 4 instead of 3?
Yes, there are now 4.
You, me, Scud, and this. It's one of the 100. But I think this one is a bit loopy, like the ones we met before. And I don't want to fucking die yet.
Yeah, I'm still hurt from earlier.
Stay behind
Is
me
there
then.
anything that you want from us in this time? Is there a reason you're hanging about up on that dais?
I care not for politics. I just want to be still for a time.
Oh no, it's a centrist. I'm kidding.
I tell Sheila to go find Pinky.
Yeah, make a perception roll. Let's see how quick Sheila takes to find Pinky.
I don't know what Pinky's doing right now. So.
I'm in a secret escape passage.
Oh, are you?
Well, it's not secret on your side. It's secret on the other side.
Oh, I'll tell him, like, if you can't find Pinky, find Marv. So.
I'm still rummaging through the chest, you know, right? What he was.
He's trying to find secret compartments and whatnot.
I'll just roll mine, then take off 3 because I can't find things. So 11.
Yeah, it takes Sheila about 5 minutes to get there. But in the meantime, looking at creepy weirdo.
You have not met the one in the Alpha. They don't know what's going on. How quaint.
No, just kind of like looms there.
I'm gonna take a step over here.
I'll step with Rusty, and I'll look around for Scud.
Feel free to do your thing.
Yeah, is there any intention to your movements? Zoo skirt around. This...
No, I'm just gonna go do what I came down here to do in the first place. I'm gonna go to the remains of the body on which seemed weirdly familiar to me, that I found the hair on, and I start gathering up the remains into the urn.
That one never ceases to be a bit of entertainment, Rusty. It's quite ironic when we finally figure out what happened.
You know who this one is?
I know who everyone is, and, well, what most will do at any one time. The only ones I don't are you and the Alpha. You, I cannot read or guess. It is refreshing.
Who is it
I just
referring to?
look to Milo, just slightly like with a worried look.
Was it referring to me when it said it didn't know what it was going to do next?
No, referring to all of you.
Oh, you as in... Yeah, okay.
Our group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't tell who it's speaking to most of the time due to the fact that it never seems to look up. At least you can't tell if it's looking up.
And there's
if
no
it is.
face. He doesn't make
There-
eye contact.
There is the faintest outline of humanoid beneath the robes, but it's like smoke. Like smoke seen through a reflection of a faint window. There's not much there. Even the voice sounds like tremulous, like it's barely there at all. Mm-hmm. It sounds like frayed or like it's caught on the wind. As this is going on, Marva, Sheila crawls up to you and frantically begins pointing.
Starts doing this on your shoulder, just tapping you, and then points towards the trapdoor.
Oh, okay. What is that? Almost slaps it. Door. All right. Slowly gets up, puts the sack of coins on his back, follows the pointing. Probably a little hurriedly.
He still hasn't figured out the bag holding.
He didn't take it from me. He's like, I have a bag.
Yeah, as this is going on, as you move down the way, you see Pinky like coming out of one of the secret tunnels as he's like moving over to the other one that Lucia was talking about.
Dude, if I happen to be passing him, quickly Sheila on Pinky's shoulder. Here, you hold this thing, and he'll just grab his little dragon-looking self. He's not a dragon, is he? Hand and pulling him with me.
As you put Sheila on my shoulder, I smush it.
Oh, thank God. It wasn't me.
Yeah, all of a sudden the connection disappears, Rusty.
He doesn't have to make an attack roll.
I imagine Sheila doesn't expect this.
I'll give it an advantage on an attack roll, but I'd still like him to roll.
Fine, go ahead and roll.
That is 10 gold with it.
Because it is stationary, it's not dodging or anything.
What is that? I don't even know how to make an unarmed attack.
A straight strength roll.
Strength plus proficiency.
You miss. And you slap Merv across his coin sack.
I think it instinctively probably flees from his shoulder.
James's poor face. One of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, it spooked me too. I know, Jesus.
I don't know why he feels the need to put that thing on our shoulders.
Yeah,
I always get so freaked out.
Marv was the one that put it on your shoulder.
It's a fucking
You read my mind. He did the same thing to me. I know it was him, not Sheila.
squirrel or something. I don't know. Spiders. It's so gross.
From one spooky creature to another, we see I think Sheila skittering back, panicked Rusty, as you panicked. You shovel a corpse into an urn. As this is going on, Milo, how do you skirt the delicate situation with this ghost, specter, multi-dimensional thing?
Very good question. In a cautious state of terror, have I noticed by any chance Scud by now, or is Scud still also hiding?
God,
from
have you moved?
me?
Yeah, have you moved at all?
I haven't, no. I haven't had a reason to.
Yeah. I presume you're still hiding from those guys, or do you move into a point of view where they can see you at all?
Yeah, I'll seeing that Milo's clearly looking around trying to find me. I'll try and skirt round to like somewhere where I'm in his eye line.
Yeah, make another perception roll. I'd say like DC 13. He's still trying to hide from this figure, so like you still might not see him by chance.
Me?
Yeah, he's trying to make it easier for you, but he still needs to keep out of sight of this thing.
No.
No, Milo doesn't have the the best acuity for these kind of things.
So Rusty has fucked off basically, and I'm on my own here.
No,
Rusty's like 30 feet away, shoveling dust into a bin, basically.
Okay, not really bothered by what is going on here.
No, he's warily doing it. It's like someone picking up probably shoveling like a landmine into a bin while they look.
Yeah, I'm like this. I'm still watching the creepy shit that's going on.
Since it's not really doing much and it hasn't really done much before, even though it's weird and creepy, I think Milo's interests have been thoroughly sated, and he would be slowly sort of getting out of there, looking for the rest, thinking that this is probably one of those things that nearly killed him and drained his charisma last time.
Yeah, so how do you approach or disengage from it?
Like I said, I would carefully move away from it and not really pay too much attention.
Yeah, as you carefully back away, I think you guys are being slow enough that Marv and Pinky, you guys show up as you see Rusty and Milo about backing away from one spot in particular. As this is going on, ever cognizant of people hiding, Marv, you notice Scud with your passive perception, hanging like a ways back behind the other two, peeking out from like some rocks.
Wait, what?
Do we see anybody in front of them?
Not until you get really close. Like I said, it's like looking at a reflection of a window that is like a ghost. Like they're like 10% opacity.
Then I don't think that. Well, I personally would approach cautiously, so I'm just gonna.
Yeah, until you notice Milo and Rusty look very tense, and like Scud's like clearly hiding from something. He's too far back for Milo to see him, though.
What the hell's going on here? Milo?
Rusty? I'll point at the thing.
This thing is claiming that it's hates everything.
Well, everything here hates everything. I honestly, just tell it to go away or something.
It's like a more intelligent version of the ghosts we fought before, and it doesn't seem to be attacking us. And it seems to be
It's the one who walks as many.
It's what?
The one who walks as many.
What does that mean?
We've heard this. We've just been told about it.
Yeah.
He's apparently some being that hops between dimensions, planes.
Seeing that the others have arrived and doesn't look like there's going to be a fight, and no point in surprising anyone. Scud's going to kind of come out now, and join everyone else.
Yeah, I'll go up to where Milo's standing, and look at it. Can we help you? Is there some reason why you're here?
You could finish your task quicker or succumb to the destruction of all.
Well, as it stands, we don't have a task, so if you would care to enlighten us, that would be most beneficial.
They are coming, destroying one universe after another until only yours remains.
This would be the elves?
Such a minor pest. Now, till I come. And when I come, I will destroy it all. Unless you can end it or beat him.
I think it wants to die, Pinky.
Well, he wants to die, or... How many of you are there? Your title seems to say that you walk as many, so How many of you are there?
23 quadrillion currently, although I don't think we need to go over the smaller numbers.
Nope, that's quite all right. Fuck, okay. And you're helping us because...
I'm not helping you. I'm merely...
Look where he's standing, Pinky. He's right in the middle. It's like maybe he was the one who set this all off.
Potentially.
Were you the one who set this all off?
I was at the center. Maybe others remember. That was so long ago now.
Okay, so you were a part of this ritual. You're saying you don't remember if you caused it to not go well.
No one remembers what happened behind these closed doors. That was one of the few things lost forever.
Well, you're clearly one of the 100. The light thingies are reacting to your presence here.
Yes.
What is it you want?
I want everything to end forever, so I do not have to suffer anymore.
A bit narcissistic of a point of view.
When you live for trillions of years, you kind of get fed up with everything.
So, what's stopping you from stopping existing if you are tired of your existence?
You are...
Are we? Look at the rest of them. Do you know this thing?
I see it right now. We fight each other in over 6,511 dimensions. I have killed you in 52 right this second, Milo. The problem is, there's so many.
So,
Too many.
surrender and die if you need so desperately to die.
I do not die. I merely pass on to another, and then I have to destroy that one. As another split occurs every time I die, it will not end.
Oh boy. Well, I suppose you don't have a solution, do you?
I have one!
No, thank God.
I'll take out a hand
Give
axe
up.
and throw it towards it.
Yeah, it puffs away, disappearing.
There you go, you're dead! Oh.
Split.
As you see, like, two of them appear. Yeah, they both seem fainter now, as one of them goes.
These bastards will die for it. I told you I just wanted to watch.
I don't think you've done it
Why
hard
you
enough.
split me? They deserve their fate. I'm coming for you. Don't think that I won't be able to pass through in an area that has become weaker.
Wouldn't be allowing this monologue to happen. Ray of Frost, one of them.
Yeah, they split into another two.
Throwing a knife
they're
at the one on the
morphing.
left.
Stop it. It fractures. Hey, are you going to join? I'm tired. We need to just destroy them.
Just go to sleep!
The nearest pass.
He shoots out of his spirit and like a spectral form shoots out in between two and tries to slash at both of them.
They keep creating splits. There are more of us. Damn, this is going to take longer. I will make you suffer, demon. Do not think I will forget. You in particular, Milo.
Ah, such talk! Kill it! As I shout at, or the demon shouts at Rusty and Pinky and Marvinsky.
Yeah.
Oh,
You see-
I've already chucked a dagger at it. I think I missed.
No, you hit them. They don't move.
Okay, good.
Yeah, as you see more and more of them split out, as you're surrounded by like about 10 of them at this stage, as like they all pause as one.
We
Continue to get thinner.
will seek our vengeance on everything for this existence. You just make more of us. We will learn from this experience and make sure the Alpha crumbles.
All of them begin to scatter in all different directions at once as they just seem to fade away.
I'll look up to the amount of things that are left. Is it the same, or are there only...
Yeah. As you look on, you see 6 of them for like another 10 seconds, and then you see it returns to 5.
Well, it seems that that solved the problem. Fortunately.
So there's no longer an extra one.
There's no longer an extra one.
Okay.
As you all peer at the numerical device.
Okay.
So that Manny character, fella, you were talking to, is that why you sent Sheila over for me? Like, it looked pretty easy to dispatch him. Just saying, if you really need my help, make sure it's something you can't handle yourself.
Well, it was more the things it was saying that was the thing that worried us before, Marvinsky. That and the fact that the fact that we're all connected somehow. This doesn't worry you?
What worry me? You're talking to smoke and mirrors here. There's the thing that lights up when people are in the room.
I'm not talking to smoking mirrors. I'm talking to you, I think.
Talking about the Manny guy. Manny as an Manny, like a name. I mean, I came in here and you just chuck an axe of smoke and it, spreads up and floats away. Sure, you can hear names from it, but I mean, I've heard creepy shit like that before. Nightmares. This whole thing is a little my pay grade, I guess I could say.
Unfortunately, it is above the pay grade of us all, but we are cast in this role despite our previous capabilities. I feel like a hefty adjustment is required to be able to deal with this.
To be fair, it's only been less than 24 hours that we've found out about all of this. I think most of us need some time to process it.
I don't know, I just know that guy scares me.
We have our answer for now. Maybe we should go back up and talk to the others about what happened. And we can rest and see what we need in the future. See where our feet take us, no?
Mm-hmm. He crawls back to Rusty and he picks it up and you just see Rusty look over at Pinky like as though Sheila's just told him something.
I'm sorry, it's creepy. It is creepy.
It is a spider.
So I put it under my vest.
She looks quite tasty.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I didn't send her after you, Scud.
Scud could ride her to battle.
Not that.
Someone done a large reduce, maybe. Yeah. As I think we see everyone return after a shaky encounter with the one who walks as many. The term of title seems a bit more prevalent now that you've seen what happened when apparently you kill it.
Ryan, what does Marv do with the sack of coin that he's got over his shoulder, like Santa Claus?
Inside the big sack is 3 smaller sacks of all the different currency types. So he's gonna sit down and he'll divide it up, try and be cheeky and hold a couple back, but you'll see past it and he'll split it up evenly. She gave us this to help. I don't see why I wouldn't split this evenly between us. Scud, I was tempted to take your share for repayment of my shop, but you already said you'll help us figure that out. So
You
yes.
really care about money, don't you, Marv? It's like,
well, money makes the world go round. I mean, we don't care about money. I mean, you want to get a new hat, you can't just do what Rusty here did.
if
Just
I
get a
want a new
gifted
hat,
one.
I'll just go and take a hat. Why should...
You see, I'm trying to leave that life behind me. I
Oh.
would have subscribed to that method of procurement of items any day of the week, and I did so quite often and quite well, actually. Hey, I think I got this. It just pulls his hide armor and shows you it. You know, so it wasn't mine, originally. Even being a shop owner, fuck that shit. That shit was all crap. The other reason why I'm not killing you immediately, a lot of that armor was just throwaway armor. But anyways, yeah. Gold's important now. Trying to be above the table. That's all. And here's your share. Math's done off screen. Not gonna bore you with that. A stack of gold, stack of silver. Silver's considerably larger, and then the copper's even considerably larger than that.
As he lays out the gold, you see Hugh kind of pensively look at you, Scud.
What are you staring at, big fella?
Do not remind me. Do you mind if we trade? If we find a way?
Trade? Trade what?
I get your body, and you get mine.
No. No, you see, that ain't your body, but this is my body. Like, this was always my body.
If you find a handsome goblin that is bereft of sense or occupied by someone you do not like, feel free to bring them here. I would rather return to my faculties. Isn't that right, Lucia?
You just see her look up from she's just sitting on a bench reading her book, clearly trying to memorize spells, and she just goes shh. He's
does it matter if it's a lady goblin? I might have someone in mind.
I would rather male, please.
Beggars can't be choosers, Hugh. But yeah, I'll see what I can do.
I will stick to this one until you find the male.
Do you all have to be so noisy talking about your dick?
And she looks up at Hugh, and she says,
I don't even know if it's feasible. I just said it was theoretically possible, as some mages do with the clone spell. But that brings up more problems, and then you have a clone war. There's a reason the Arcane College has outlawed that spell.
You just see Hugh look downcast. He's
I am never going to return. Oh.
He just puts his hands in his face.
Well, Lucia, I also like making deals, and I heard you say earlier about how this is sort of a backup spell book that you've got and doesn't have all your favorite spells in that you've learnt over the years. I myself have a few spells in my own personal book. How about a trade? A spell for a spell. Maybe just a first or a second level, but if I have one that you might find useful that you don't have in your own yet, and if you have one that I might have.
She just smiles, sickly sweet, with her parchment-like skin stretching. It's quite unnatural and slightly disturbing as you see her look at you. And she says,
Oh, so I should help you now after you left me in that cage for another hour or two. Maybe in an hour or two.
This isn't you helping me. This is a equal trade for trade. 50-50 split. Completely separate to anything else that we've had so far.
And it makes sense that you help Rusty. We're all on the same side here. We're all trying to do the same thing. If you helping him, it's like helping you.
Right. Don't be a bitch like Nightingale.
Pardon me for not wanting to trust new allies after last time.
and she just cocks a thumb back at the side of the Calamity.
Well, we could have poked you with a bunch of sharp sticks now, could we? But we didn't. So,
And I could have eviscerated you all or turned you into lemmings.
listen, we're
Which I got
going to be
myself back.
around for quite a while. How about you just make it easy on everybody and just help us out?
You have to earn help. I've helped as much as I can. I will not give you the resources necessary to hurt me in any meaningful way. Not yet.
Right. Well, maybe Nightingale will help us. Come on.
Rusty rolls his eyes and he'll go
She just,
to
she
wherever,
just snickers and reads her book.
wherever Rusty's sort of like setup is, where he might have spent the previous long rest at. He'll stash away that urn as safely as can. Put a blanket over.
You move into the office. Yeah, as this is going on, you see Hugh stop pouting, and he just sighs and begins to drag out stuff.
Guess all I'm useful for now is back mule.
And he like begins dragging out all these, all this furniture and unpacking stuff. He says,
We can at least make the place homey.
I don't know how you feel about dwarven bodies, but I've always wanted to be tall.
Man, too dense. Not enough lightness on the feet. Sorry.
This might help you.
Pantry.
Sorry, I could be interrupting.
Okay.
This might help you. I will halve his weight. Make him lighter briefly for 1 minute.
This could work.
and then like when it
And
ends,
he's like, oh,
Yeah.
put it in. Do it permanently. Come on. You are holding out on me.
I'll make him heavier.
I may not be as quick as I used to be, but I bet I can throw you quite far, Rusty.
I'd believe it. But unfortunately, it's only a temporary ability I have.
Do
Maybe
not
sometime
manipulate
eventually.
this goblin's feelings no further.
Sorry, Pinky, what were you trying to?
Oh, I'm just gonna the pantry that we had a short rest in. I'm gonna take that. I'll empty it and craft myself a little bed and use that as my room in that big area. I'll use as my workshop.
yeah, you begin to hollow out the office. Is like you direct Hugh slightly to drag stuff around. Yeah, as everyone gets into kind of like a mishmash house, like you see a lot of things brought through that don't make much sense stylistically. Like it's very clear that like a lot of this stuff came from a lot of clashing personalities and styles and tastes as you look at some of the stuff.
Ela
You see
starts
Lucy-
working on cleaning up all the insects and bugs.
Yeah, Lucia just looks at all this stuff and she's like,
Unfortunate that none of the magical was brought along. Only their mundane possessions. Unfortunate.
she like eyeballs some of the stuff being dragged out.
Milo will sit on one of the chairs close to Pinky and help out if he can, but smoke a pipe if he doesn't need any help. And look around.
There's quite a few big tables that
Yeah,
need
you-
to be moved.
Yeah, basically, you guys possess in your arsenal a thrift shop's worth of antique and modern furniture. As you like start to drag all of it out of crates and whatnot. So you guys can go with whatever style you want for your room. As you look over all this crap.
Oh, I know what to do. We bring it to town on Senior's Day and host a garage
Yeah.
sale. We will make a killing.
Are you in need of money? Are you poor?
I have a feeling that I'm going to need quite a bit of it. Yes.
Oh, are you saving up for something?
No, it's more for the things that I anticipate building for everyone and crafting.
Oh, do you have
Yes,
any ideas of what you want to build?
Oh, a few different things. Yes.
Speaking of which, Pinky, you seem to be carrying quite a hefty amount of supplies there on your back.
Yes,
Did you
my
wanna-
treasures?
Did you want to take this? Be in charge of the
The bag?
Yeah.
Oh, certainly.
What?
Already
You
used to
want that
carrying
thing?
one.
It's so small, you can't fit anything in it.
Okay, Marv, you do know this is magical.
Yeah,
We've told
We
you
showed,
this
we showed you
before.
this yesterday, Marv.
God,
pretty
it's
much
so
literally
confusing.
anything can fit in there if you wish it so, Marv. Do you have anything big, Marv? That,
I
that we
pull out
could...
a longsword that's obviously longer than the bag.
Do you remember the barrel of mead?
I saw you shoving something in a sack earlier. Is it in that thing?
This is the sack, yes.
God,
I'm happy to,
Didn't you have a
doesn't make
shot?
sense though. This big. Yeah, and I carried all of it on my back to get it here. Bought it from people. Brought it. I mean,
Oh, it could have been
I
so
could
much
have just
easier.
put it all in one bag. That'd have been amazing.
I'm happy to keep track of what's inside the bag if you like, Pinky. I did all the books back at my family shop, so. But if you want to carry it around for all your supplies,
See, it's confusing. You don't know what's in it. If you had a barrel in a bag, you'd see the
I
goddamn
know
barrel.
exactly what's in it.
What's
You
the scars?
call what you want out of it. That's how it works.
What if I
Much
just
better
like?
memory than you do.
That's not explaining how it works. What if I just flipped it inside out?
I mean, we did that yesterday.
Yeah, we
Showed you
did.
this
I do
yesterday.
remember that part. I do remember the bloody.
All
foot
right,
flying out of
I give the
bag.
fucking bag to Pinky.
Okay.
I'll start moving tables around, I guess, with whoever wants to help me.
No, I got you, mate.
I
Is
can
there
make
anything
them
else
lighter.
anyone wants to do as you all settle into home, sweet home?
Gotta be honest, I didn't really want to move the tables, but I felt like it was a necessity.
We're moving these chests and these belongings of these other people.
Feels like real life is leaking into D&D right now. Fucking
prime
moving shit
Simulating
around.
the ultra mundane.
It
So
would be
today-
if it didn't have probably clues all
Oh,
over it. I'd be
oh,
looking through
no.
the hope chests.
Milo, the Wi-Fi just went out. I need you to come fix.
Oh, not the wife.
Well,
It's shut frozen.
on any of these trunks that we're moving around, any of them got names on them?
As everyone settles in to pulling things out, yeah, you get a good few names. Many of them don't tell you much, as most of them are first names. You see Francois, Jasper, Udin, Michael, etc. As you go through the names, a few of them are more exotic, which you kind of expect as you go through them, with several of them like Thedusius and Rusonia and Volumia, etc. As you begin to go through like a horde, it's almost like 100 people's different names. Also mixed into it, what doesn't help is a lot of the retinue probably had stuff here as you go through the belongings.
I'm just shouting out the names, trying to get a ping on anyone who might know any name that's either nearby, a bill of person, mayor of a town, just anything like that, as I'm
Maybe
going
you
through them.
Recognise your own names. Like, we
Maybe,
still
but-
don't know whose your one is and whose Rusty's one is. And whose
That's a
Pinky's
good
one
point. Is there like a bag of Anathandies?
Does anything look familiar? Does that look
That's
like
why I
it's yours?
collected the ash of that one that I found the hair on. As soon as when I was going around the different ash piles and seeing what was left remaining, like different boots and belts and capes, whatever, from the 100 corpses, the second I picked up that one, I got a wild sense of familiarity and panic, like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. So that, I don't know, like, my theory is that could be whatever the hell person's inside me.
It's just strange that yours came 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that is weird.
Your theories are as good as mine.
Oh, you just didn't notice it like me. I mean, I only pieced it together based on what y'all are telling me. I thought I got a rash.
I bathe every day, so I seen it on me. I don't know how you don't
Onion under there.
notice the mark on your wrist.
So what are we gonna do then? So are we gonna like just try and find all these people?
I ain't that smart, but I'm good at hunting down people that I know where they exist in the reality I'm standing in. That's why I'm yelling out all these
What do you
names.
mean?
If you know someone, just say so.
I mean-
we can go.
What do you
grab-
mean you're good at finding people in your reality?
I mean, go ask questions. Hey, do you know Bob? Bob from the tavern?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I can do that too. Like that doesn't sound particularly skillful.
Well, I will say, if you're running through a muddy place, and I've seen your shoes, I could follow a trail. See some marks on a tree, see a broken branch, stuff like that. It's not too bad.
Do you have any ideas on how we could find Rosie?
Well, I think that's a good place to start. We've got to try and find all of these different ones, and well, your sister seems like the best place to start looking.
Yeah, like obviously I'm biased, so I want to pursue that as soon as possible as our first thing. But at the same time, like you said, we don't really know any other leads, right?
Do you
Well,
think?
if I could see where she lived, maybe get a couple clues on her environment that she was around a lot. Say, like, I don't know, your
saw
shop.
it yesterday. It was burnt down.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of hard for me to give you any help on that one specific. But if all these people's stuffs is still here.
Well, we know she's got some like crazy items. Like maybe we get our ear to the ground and maybe we can hear something. And like anyone who's had their head chopped off, I know, or like that vorpal sword, or
it wouldn't be a bad idea. But the biggest thing is, Rusty, do you think that your sister is part of the 100?
From what we've heard about how she's been acting, that's not my sister. She's never had. I mean, she was. Me and her ran the shop together. I was, the brains out the back, running the books and all that stuff, and fixing up all the things that before we put them on shelf. But she was just the storefront. She was very charismatic and she could make a sale and she was very friendly. But she's never had any, inclination of magical prowess. But we come here, we find out she's been using fire, turning invisible.
The other thing, Milo, is do you remember the door?
She's not even a lighter like me. She's just a dusker.
To get in here, you had to have the mark. Otherwise, the door wouldn't open for you.
And she gets in here, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did.
Hold on, real quick. The dragon people, weren't they down here? Did we ever check them for a mark?
They were not down
I thought
here.
They got the shield from down here.
They're in like the caves up above.
Yes, they were guarding the entrance to this, if you will. But it's not the place itself that was guarded by strange spirits emerging from light itself. The inverse of what some people are afraid of, the shadows, I think there's but one thing we can really do, and that is find out more about who we are and where the rest of us are. And why we really needed to do all of this.
Well, one of the madmen, when they were coming up to pierce me with their sword, they called me Pierce.
And that one when we just talked to, the one that called themselves the one who walks as many, or the one we suspect that to be, knew all our names as well. Perhaps those shadows were parts of them?
How do all these beings and all that just instantly recognize us as one of the 100 as soon as they see us? But we can't seem to get any sense of that when we see people.
But I do feel a connection to all of you. It might just be because you're all good gentlemen.
Well, you just seem to... You're just too in touch with your emotional side, Milo.
You make it sound like a bad thing.
Yeah, your demon, Milo, recognised Nightingale in me. Maybe they can sense each other.
You have shown us Nightingale.
That's true.
But maybe they can. I don't know, but I've always felt that I trusted you, Scud, even when apparently you were not to be trusted, and when you turned out to be... You betrayed me, I felt. It hurt more than it should have from someone I just knew. So, maybe we...
just soft.
Yes, and no. I've been through plenty, but... Yeah, it sort of goes quiet.
Yeah, you just see Lucia look at you all. She says,
"You're not nearly as frazzled or confused as the retinue or people nearby who weren't in the chamber. I think it's fairly clear that you're not seeing multiple dimensions like them all at once." That seems like enough to drive anyone mad.
It's the town we came from. Obviously, that's
Azerat.
probably the Azerat. That's probably the closest town to where we are now.
Yeah.
How close would the next closest town be?
Let me bring you guys to the map.
Thank you, James, for asking on what I was thinking.
Yeah, with the passage you guys have now plowed, the Ezrat is not too far away. It is only about half a day's journey, whereas it was nearly a full day before. But that was because you weren't like directly following it. You were trying to track someone at the same time. A certain little green bastard wearing the foot of a troglodyte. But as you look over, studying your own map, you're near Limgos, which is nearly equidistant. It's slightly smaller, as you can see.
So how about this for a plan? We get a night's rest here, then we head back to Azerat tomorrow morning with one of these bodies, claim the reward for handing them in as the arsonist, and if there's no sign of Rosie having returned there, we head back on the road and head to Limages.
You know, I suggest
And then
we
start asking questions there.
maybe use one of the draconian bodies or the trog bodies, like, because there were clues in the town that pointed to trogs, so that would follow rather than just some random Yumi.
Probably the smartest thing you've said, yes, Scott. I think that's a good idea. That nice old lady that I've forgotten the name of said you mentioned seeing a big troglodyte-looking guy in the alleys, so get one of them, hand them in.
Can we pick one out and put it near the door? I don't want it running away from that lich lady. Might try and use it for her own purposes. Don't look at me like that.
She just peers at you and she says,
I am quite the accomplished necromancer.
Well, if you can get it to walk for us, we won't have to carry it.
That's a good point.
Although I have methods of carrying it, it'll be fine. Does anyone disagree with this plan going forward?
Not at all.
Who's the best here at putting on a poker face? It's important for when we
Probably
get back.
me.
You?
It probably is doubly important since if you do not find anyone, they'll probably send people to look. And last thing we want them doing is discovering this place.
Also, you're in the favor of clearing your own name. Best you be the one to persuade them that this body is the one that did it.
I believe it would probably be
I don't know.
Milo, myself, and you, Marv. You know, Milo's friendly with the mayor. Us two are the ones that lost things, so if there's no reason really for us to lie, we'd be the ones that are trying to get to the bottom of the ball.
It's true, but we're not detectives. We're shop owners. We're supposed to be normal people. It's the criminal who would know who would burn shit down like this if it was clearing his own name.
Someone that's gone there to clear his own name is more inclined to lie.
I don't want to lie because I'm not great at it.
And
People see right
and
through me.
stand
I'm
behind
better at it.
myself and Milo and nod.
And finding a professional detective in these places,
Planning on that, trust me.
it's going to be very difficult.
If you're not a good liar, just don't say anything. Easy.
You just hear like say that from like looking at her book, getting somewhat annoyed that you guys keep on talking about it.
Can you go to it or go to sleep or something?
Yeah,
I have spells to memorize, and I have to try and track the Firebeard's sister.
maybe we should.
No one's forcing her to sit here and listen to us.
Yeah, I thought the same, but I feel like I've met her type before. Maybe we should find our own place and discuss there for a second. So, yeah. There's a room over here. Let's get in. We can talk together without disturbing her. It's a.
Can you please get out of my room?
Oh.
Yeah, I'll just walk at the Pinky's room.
We just want to involve you into discussing our ultimate plan, really. What we're
more discussing.
Just a little bit more. Don't worry. It's just like a sort of a guide, as in how we're going to fill out the itinerary for the next coming days, weeks.
I thought we just discussed that.
But I think Pinky wasn't there. He was in his room.
Yeah, you're talking quite loud. I can hear
Ah,
our
okay,
entire
okay.
conversation from the inside. Yes.
Pinky, this is the plan.
So any adjustments? Any feedback? Maybe.
I'll tell you what I would like to do at some point is I'd like to tap into those rings that react to each individual of the 100, and I'd like to perhaps reverse the beacon that it sends. Obviously, it's able to sense each of our, I don't know, maybe frequencies and reverse that and try and find others. I think we would benefit to finding another artificer.
I agree.
I might work on that in the coming weeks. But in any case, it's been a terribly long day, and I really want to go to bed.
That's fine. As long as we can conclude our business with that last town. I believe you're already heading out of there anyways. I was kind of wandering through, found the place kind of cute, so I stayed for a couple of days. But otherwise, I had no ties to it.
You here?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Let's rest, and then in the morning we can go there.
More used to aye, but sure. Here.
Well,
On that sleepy note, we see everyone get their rooms or find a spot with some furniture they like to all rest and gain their 3rd level. As I think we will end today's session on that sleepy note.
And I start brainstorming what I can turn Sheila into that's not going to freak out the party every time.
Wonderful. Good idea.
Giant snake. No one's
It'll be
scared.
something like that.
You can borrow like a tuft of Lucia's hair as your incense to
get
reflect
your drop bears out. Hell yeah, 3rd level. We get to actually do stuff
A
now.
little wallaby.
Yeah, stealing a wizard's hair is a good way to get yourself killed.
As well
I've
as
already got one hair in a vial.
Not for me.
Well, I'll leave that to you guys next week.
We also don't know she's a wizard.
I mean, not necessarily next week. It's gonna be a bit, but
well,
next time.
Maybe. Yeah, we might be doing a one-shot next week, as some people might be missing. But we will have further details when the time comes. Although next week we may not have a session.
Bless all of you. See you soon. Bye bye.
Good night, guys.
Bye.